And actually, that was part of my question too, which was, in a lot of these situations you've talked about, the executive lounge and like, your wife's reaction or, maybe life led and your wife's reaction. It seems like you really get a lot of joy out of seeing her experience or like, I guess her reactions to things. Is that true? Is that
Yeah.
like, you love that?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of the things that I love about my wife is she really values those experiences, right? And so that's kind of like when we celebrate our birthdays or something. We don't really go out and like get each other like big gifts or anything. We go and do something that we've always wanted to do with our lives.
Mm,
And so like that's kind of what credit cards, points and miles has kind of let me do is like give her what we both want to do. And it's also really great too because at the end of the day she is super on board with being player two, right? She's it's whenever there's a major purchase, she's like, okay, I want this, how should I go about doing it? And it's like, yeah, all right, let's check Rakuten, let's check Capital One offers, let's let's figure out what the best credit card is. Like, and it's awesome. She's got the gold card, she's got the platinum additional user, and now thanks to you guys, she's got the Chase 100,000 point offer. So
nice. Very
yeah.
cool. Huh. So what do you have any advice? Because there's so many folks out there who talk about, their wives or, what they call their player twos and stuff. And they're always like, how do I get them on board, with the game? Because, and it's a little tough because like it's similar to yours, mine has always kind of been on board. Not always, but like pretty much from the first couple of redemptions, just like a couple Hiltons, and you're like, oh wow, we didn't pay cash for this, we paid points from the card we signed up for. Like that's crazy. And then ever
Yeah.
since then, she's like, okay, how could we both do this? Which cards can we get to maximize? And now again, yeah, again, like if it's big purchases, she's like, oh, we'll throw it on the card, we'll hit a welcome offer. So what do you
Mhm.
what do you attribute that to? Has she always been that way, or did you guys do it together?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, pretty much like once we actually booked the seat, so like I showed her the video, like some of the review videos of Air France business class. I was like, this is
Mm,
what we're gonna do, right? She started getting on board, but after like, she got to see like, wait, we're in this lounge because you have a credit card, like,
mm,
yeah, let's do it, like, and so like she is definitely has been really on board. And it is because of the experiences, right? Because we are able to do something like we're okay, but we're not, let's fly in business class to Europe multiple times a year, okay.
right.
And so like being able to do that is just like it's just incredible. And it's like a huge, and I think one thing too, like in our last trip, she was able to see how our points and our miles were able to kind of be like multiply how much money we had in a real sense. So like
Mm,
this past one, so we used Hilton points for the Paris hotel in our spring break trip. And
mhm,
then so when I just got back from, and then we paid for the Conrad hotel, but I had a bunch of Hilton credits from the Hilton business card, saving those up. And so and that was severely kind of limited how much we had to pay for that. And so what we were able to do with that instead was we actually booked a couple nights, I forgot how exactly, I think it was two or three, at a bed and breakfast in the Cotswolds. And
mm,
I don't know if you saw that video where I talked about it. I actually recorded a couple of videos in front of it. Um,
mm,
but the building was built in the 1600s, and like it's like the Cotswolds are like the British countryside, so it's like very old, very quaint, like, but it's like it is just like a different world. Like when you think like everything's just so old, and like
mm,
it's just like it's something else. And I think the total, I think we spent like $500 or $600 or something. But like we were able to do that because we had the points and miles to spend on everything else. And so like I love seeing the videos where like you see like the people that like try to make sure the points pay for every single part of the vacation. But
mhm,
what we've been able to see so far is like, if we know that we're going to spend a certain amount on vacations, like points and miles allow us to use that spend in a way that will get us more experiences than we would have thought possible before.
Hmm. That's a good point. That's a really good point. At least, the framing of it, I like a lot actually, because you're like, it puts us at a different level for our vacations. Kind of amplifies your money a little bit because it's true. Like I remember my
Yeah,
first ever like trip with my wife, where we, adult trip with my wife, where we pulled it, paid for everything in cash, and I didn't necessarily. I think I was just getting cards, but it wasn't like fully points miles. So, like I paid for a JetBlue flight, I paid for an Airbnb, a car rental, Disney park tickets, all these different things. At the end of it, it was like a $2,500 cash trip. But if you had that same $2,500 allotted towards like your vacation fund every year, but you supplement
yeah,
all of the like air travel and your hotels with your points, oh yeah, that 2,500 could last you, if it's just food and activities, for 3 trips. It could be 4 trips depending how crazy you're gonna
100%.
go.
Yeah,
So I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Do you have any
And
friends
Paris
in?
was like
Mhm.
that. Paris was like that too. So we booked a lot of experiences in Paris through Viator, which is
Mm,
there was a huge Amex offer that I used for the green card. So I think we saved like $150 or something off of that
nice.
total. But one of the things that we really liked, was that there was a night dinner cruise on the Seine. And so we were like, I paid extra to be on the window, so we were on the side of the boat looking out, and like, it was amazing. So they had, three-course meal, and basically, like, as we were sailing past, the Eiffel Tower, like it was lighting up, and we were eating, like, foie gras and all that. Like it was just an incredible experience. Like, had we just been trying to scrimp and save and pay for this hotel, like completely out of pocket, that definitely would not have even been remotely close to the budget, right?
Oh yeah.
And so, like, that's something that we got to do. Like, we went to a croissant making class at a small little cooking school in Montmartre, and that was also something that we not would not have been able to afford to do if the hotel wasn't covered, if the airfare wasn't covered, you know
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's amazing. That's the power of our whole space. That's why
yeah,
everybody in here has a million credit cards. Just make more of those experiences happen. As Cody says, having played 2 on board is a cheat code. 100%
it is, it
legit.
really is.
That's I don't know how about you
And
guys, but
having player two that has
Mhm.
their own business is a cheat code too.
Yeah, true.
Because
Actually,
I got a business and now she has a business, and so
that's very true. I didn't even think about that because she's had it for so long, but it's true. Yeah, that's how we were able to get a couple more inks last year. It's oh man, yeah, just start some businesses, man. Who's let me see, King Sam is here. Hail, hail, King Sam. How are you? Philmo says something about this Philip guy seems cool. Oh, that's right. All Philips are cool. I think so.
and
Yeah, man.
and he says it,
Mhm.
and he spells it right too.